idea is bring in more bodies.
Oh, bring in more
Oh,
bodies.
well, if you're stuck, bring more.
Yes.
Bring in more bodies.
Yes.
Yeah, I say bring in more voices.
No, and that's all right, but I
that's okay.
love that because it's the actual bodies
the
in
actual
the room.
body is there.
And with Lynn, when she does this, it doesn't even matter if they're talking. I mean,
Or if they're imaginary.
yes.
Michael White drew on
Yeah.
this whole idea
Yeah.
too in his attending witnesses, outsider witnesses.
Yeah.
And
Well, with you, even an animal can be the body.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever.
But there's these, as I said, these bursts of creative energy, and what I love about it is Lynn is connected to all of them. Well, so are you.
Well, you
Well-
know what's interesting is breaking up the professional rivalries, the nursing system, the psychiatry
Yes.
people in a hospital, and talking to Jaakko Sekula and Mary, I learned that everybody at Karapudas Hospital, all the people, the working people, had to take 3 years of family therapy.
Yes.
So that they were at least coming from the same page, even though it was not traditional page. So how do you educate people, and how did you do that in Texas?
Well, I'll take your word that you've used often, contagious. Something becomes contagious. I think people begin to sense, be affected by the enthusiasm of the team and some of the stories that they were hearing, as well as the experiences of the people in particular who would work on the inpatient wards, who would work with some of these patients if they went back to the inpatient ward. They often found, and I'm kind of detouring a moment, but that with new referrals, where they begin to use this almost kind of as a quote intake process,
Yeah.
that the majority of people did not need to even be hospitalized. Very similar. They would send them back home. But what began to happen is that people began to hear about this work, become very interested and wanting to come over and observe. So people would sit in the room and observe, and then they wanted to be on the team. So the hierarchy of the teams began to break down. So a medical student could be on the team, a pediatrician, an occupational therapist, a hospital
Sure.
chaplain. So the training began to seep into all of those other disciplines within the medical school.
So their identities would start to break down, and you didn't have these rivalries
You know,
and differing views. Okay.
the other piece about, do you want me to sit back?
Just stay there.
Okay.
Don't sit there.
The other piece about open dialogue too is that, for example, in the meeting I described to you, the people that work on the inpatient unit are always coming off the unit and participating in the community. And the people who do the community crisis work go on the inpatient unit, because that team that comes together in the first 24 hours is your team.
Oh, wow.
But what I noticed is that it dissolves some of the rigidity of point of view that builds up in the community team or in the inpatient unit, so that these units have very porous boundaries because people are always moving back and
Yeah.
forth.
Amazing.
And I think that has also a huge effect on this process,
On the professional system.
on the professional system. So you're not just an inpatient nurse and have to defend inpatient
Exactly,
psychiatrists. You're also seeing that person in their home. You're seeing them with the crisis team. You're seeing them in these moving, shifting contexts.